Thanks for tuning in to Luminary Sounds. It's your boy, musical artist Junior Ledo.
It's your musical enthusiast Francois the Great.
And your creative fanatic, K Don't Play.
K Don't Play.
Yes,
we have a guest with us here.
We sure do. We have
I'm
Ken
having so much trouble with
Geary.
this thing.
And what are you doing with this lighter?
Listen. It's a celebration.
Ooh,
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration. Now
New
listen.
Year?
I know you're probably wondering.
Yeah,
why the candles for the celebration?
What's going on with the
I'm
candles?
gonna get right into it.
You almost burned us, man.
I almost did, but we have insurance here at Lion City Studios. So let's cheers
Cheers.
to 2020
2020.
and all the beautiful things that are about to happen.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We're joined with a great guest. I'm happy that he's here with us today. This man is a jack of all trades. That's what I tell him all the time. He's working on shows right now.
What's his
which
name?
we'll talk about. You know
Does
what?
he have a name?
He has a name.
What's his name?
His name is Ken Geary.
Ken Geary.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to have you, Ken Geary. Now, before we get to Ken Geary, I'm setting the mood with the candles for a specific reason.
You go on and sit down.
Yes, please.
LeJon B.
LeJon B.
Okay.
LeJon B, a.k.a. Grey Poupon, please.
No. We gonna do that?
We're going to do that right now.
All right.
let's
K-Way,
hear it.
K-Way, how did you feel about LeJon B and his album Sincerely Me?
I absolutely loved it. Rating wise, I would give it a 10.
Oh.
I would give it a 10. Why? You
from 0 to 5, because you know we
0 to
rate from
5?
0 to 5.
Oh,
So
yeah,
a
okay,
5.
okay. Yeah, I'll give it a 5.
5
She'll
out
give
of
it a
5.
five.
Yes.
So
I loved
when
it.
you give it a 5, that means that it's flawless. It's
Let me
like
say
it was
something.
production
flawless.
value. That means writing value. That means everything is like flawless about
me,
this
it
album.
was flawless.
Everything is flawless on this album. I'm trying to pull it up a
really
little bit
was.
right now. This guy here, LeJon B, set the mood. I had to bring out the candles.
It was definitely
It was a vibe.
a vibe.
I'm sitting
for
here
sure.
riding in the whip, and I'm like, LeJon B got me feeling some kind of way.
Right.
This album was amazing.
Now I will
And
say.
it's like poetry, but not poetry.
Yeah. I wanted. It's funny Kay brought that up because at first I was like, is he a rapper?
Right.
Is he a singer?
Exactly.
LeJon B, what exactly do you call yourself, brother?
Right.
He's an amazing artist. The album Sincerely Me is a 5-cut EP. First song, A Tale, typed, not written. Beautiful track.
That was one of my favorites.
Another one of my favorites is You Part 1 or Part 2. He could do Part 3.
I'm like Kay. I like that pull up.
Yes, that was
Now,
my favorite.
the pull
That
up.
was my favorite. I
He
was
was
mad
jamming
that
on that last
he
one.
had
He was
a video to that because I went to his Instagram.
He has a video?
Yeah, and
I
I
haven't
was like,
seen that.
I was gonna DM him and be like, well, if you haven't did a video yet, I'd love to be in it, but he already had
Now,
one.
see, the album's so good. K-Way is trying to slide her way into the video.
I really was.
She really was. I believe her.
So it's how many tracks are on the album?
It's a 5-song
5.
EP. It's
Okay.
actually his second album, so to
Okay.
speak.
And this is an independent artist.
Yes, independent artist. So we had a submission on our website, luminary-sounds.com, and all local artists, whatever artist you are, send us, your requests.
And your submissions.
We will take a sincere look, but you have to have a bio. You have to have, something that there's something that's tangible. That we
EP.
can, yeah, you have to have something. You can't just be, hey, check out me singing in my living room. You got to have something for us to
Try
present
again.
to the world.
I can't come
try again.
I
We
can't come
appreciate you, but try again.
I can't come with you with my singing in the shower.
No, you
No.
cannot come with your singing in the shower.
I'm good though.
Can I segue into shower? Can I segue into shower?
Go ahead,
for it.
segue
So-
into
Go
it.
for it.
So the other day, it's about 10 o'clock at night, took a shower, I ran out of lotion.
Oh.
It's a serious thing because my skin was getting a little chapped. So what I needed to do was go
You
get
light
some
skin
lotion.
though, so you probably are.
Not that light skin, but still. So I look like Ashley Larry if you allow me.
Ashley
So
Larry.
basically what happened was I go to CVS and I just need something this late. I grabbed the first thing I could see. It's just that lotion aisle. Price point was good with me. Picked it up, go home, take a shower, put on the lotion. Come out the bathroom and Carissa said, "What's that smell?"
Oh no.
I said, "What is that smell? So anyway, I look at the bottle. I'm looking at it like this. The bottle is in Spanish.
Oh my God.
Not even in English. I'm like, wait, what am I putting it on my skin?
You went and put some olive oil on yourself.
Get your butt back in the shower and take off that lotion right. I took 2 showers. A shower to clean myself and a shower to clean off the lotion.
Wow.
That's sad. That is sad. But
That's
anyway.
so
So did you find out what it was?
Let me tell you something. We picked up the lotion bottle with some gloves and removed it from the room.
She was
The
like,
gloves.
get that-
With gloves. We
get
didn't
that
want
out.
to
You
touch
have to
our
use like
skin
that Google
anymore.
Translator. You should just Google
yeah.
Translate it.
It was real bad. Real bad.
So
But
you never found out what the exact name
it's in
was.
Spanish. I couldn't tell you.
Man.
You know. But shout out to the Spanish businesses that are getting on the shelves at,
Note to
at
self,
CVS.
check labels next time.
Yes, absolutely. absolutely. So again, LeJon B had a great album. He did. Anything you want to take away from? Anything that you did take away
What
from?
I will say about LeJon B, and I'm not knocking the brother, I know it's a big thing right now. A lot of artists like using this auto-tune.
Yeah.
He did use that, and I feel like you're such a good artist, you do not need that.
Yeah.
So
he has
what
a
are
good
you
voice.
rating from 1 to 5?
I'm
What'd you
going to
rate the
give him a 4.
Really?
Because I think that I wanted to hear just him without the flashy auto tunes and all the
Okay.
add-ons.
You thought
I
it
think,
was too much?
I
I
think
didn't think it was too
I thought it
much.
was kind of subtle to me.
Yeah, it
I
wasn't
think-
too much.
I just was wondering what pull-up would sound like without it.
Oh, so the track pull up. That's the
Yes.
one. Well, it was more.
Well,
it was
well,
definitely
it's more in pull-up, you know, and I like pull-up.
Mm-hmm.
Pull-up is my jam.
me see
But
if I
I
can
just
pull
feel
up.
like with the auto, I like auto-tune, and don't get me wrong, of course you got your people like Travis Scott and all
Yeah.
these guys that are using it now, but
I think
just
that song needed it.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah. Is it too much auto tune?
That's what you're doing. It's like,
Hey, I'm pulling up, Francois. Oh, hey, go ahead and use that auto tune, LeJon B. I'm cool
Right.
with it.
But apart from that, I think you're a great artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
I,
He's
I
an amazing
enjoy what
artist.
you're doing. I just would love to see what it would be like with you just doing your thing just without
I think
any-
he was chasing like a sound,
Yes,
so to speak. I
exactly.
think that
That's-
he was
I
like, because the last song is so far different than
Right,
the first 4
right.
cuts. The first 4 were like I said, they had to light the candles. You know what I'm saying? So
and,
I was
and
like,
he's a Bay Area guy too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I kind of thought. That
So
was
really
you're
good
thinking
before.
about it like driving on the 101,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
like
It
like
was-
literally, like,
You needed a little.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he made me want to buy flowers.
Leaving out of San
CVS on
Francisco,
the way
going
out.
to Oakland.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You know, so LeJon B, I give him a 5. You give him a 4. We'll average that out 5. You know,
4.5.
4.5
I gave him a
because
10,
Francois gave him a
actually.
4, but nevertheless we respect his opinion.
Yes.
So you know,
Yes.
but moving on to Ken. How did we get Ken involved?
So, Ken actually came to me from my niece Jasmine. So Jasmine is into film. We've spoken about her. Luminary J, the honorary Luminary J. So she's like, Uncle Francis, you gotta meet this guy. And I'm just like, who are you talking about? And she's like, he does everything. He's a great guy. He reminds me of you. And I said, oh, if he reminds me of you, I gotta meet him.
I gotta meet my
To meet
twin.
him, right?
So I go down, and at the time he's actually working, but his job, he's so good at what he does, he can step away from what he's doing, sit down and chat with you for a little bit, and go back.
That's a
So-
compliment to Mr. Ken.
So I said, this man right here.
Yeah.
So we start talking, chatting. We find out that we're both into entertainment, and I find out that he's just has great knowledge about so many different things.
Right.
So he talks to me about things that he's working on and projects he's coming up with and he wants to do. And at that time I said, man, he is so cool. When I do something as far as like a podcast, he's definitely got to be on. Now, I don't know if he thought I was playing, but the funny thing was I hit him up. And when I hit him up, I thought he was going to tell me he's busy because he's a very busy man. He's being humble.
Ken, were you at the movie premiere?
The screening.
I
The
was at the
premiere.
movie premiere.
Okay,
Somewhere in there.
that's why I met you the first time.
Yeah. I met you. Yeah, I was. Yeah, but I mean, I'm never too busy, and I don't
That's
care
awesome.
how important. If I have 50 TV shows on the thing, I'm
that's
never
awesome.
too busy, and,
That's
and
awesome.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate just this, you know. So
Right.
Great.
when I look back on this will probably be one of my first interviews that I
So it's
greatly
going to be the
appreciated.
most
So,
memorable.
That's
you know,
awesome,
and,
And
yeah,
we
I'm,
did provide the drinks, Ken. So
yeah, and I always do that, and I tell people, I'm like, I'm never too busy. for anything, you know, especially for good people and good things, you know.
That's good.
I've been a fan of your show since he's been sending it to me. And,
Oh man, thank
and
you.
I listened, and he's like, let me know what you think about it. And when he sent it to me, it's so genuine because, you know, who cares about anybody's real opinion? And he actually genuinely said, hey, let me know what you think about it. And I sat there and I listened to it on the way home, and I found it very interesting. And some of the artists you guys talking about, like, I don't really
You
like
never heard of
listen
them.
to it. Right.
Yeah.
But then I actually do. So the first thing I do when I get in the car tonight, I am going to
LeJon,
listen to
LeJon,
Yeah.
and I'm
the
going
thing
to pull
about
up.
And you're gonna pull up. So Ken, when you pull up LeJon B, it's LeJon B dot. So if
Right.
you don't have that dot, it's gonna be real hard to find,
Okay.
brother. So you gotta. I was like, where's this man?
Don't forget the dot.
Right.
Yeah. Don't forget the dot.
And
Yeah.
that's it seemed like I've been noticing that. I was at in Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show.
Okay.
And a lot of the networks and a lot of the music companies, I figured out that cassette tapes are coming back and records are coming back. And this was the first year that records outsold cassette tapes and CDs as I do it. And it's just this nostalgia. They're like Sony had a display there, and they had the Walkman. They're bringing the Walkman back.
Why do you think it's coming back?
So, but this is the thing. It's a Walkman that you can stick your tapes in, and it'll download it to an MP3. Because it's that quality, that little static quality of that CD, and you like it. Because if you remember Amy Winehouse's album,
Right.
that album was so popular because it had that crackling noise
Yes,
to
yeah.
it. And
It
you
sounded
think
like a record.
And it sounded like a record, and everybody thought this was so revolutionary. I'm like, go to your mom's
thought it was
like
a revolution.
25 and you can do that.
Go listen to the OJs. That's
Right. So, and I just noticed there's a lot of independent TV producers, a lot of independent record labels, and what it is like I'm developing an app now, and it's pretty much called Yes, No, or Maybe. And then next time I'm on, I can have a little bit more info for you. Make sure my lawyer and everybody don't get mad at me. But it's just to the point that a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, but it's so hard for people to actually secure the financing.
Yeah.
I produce a couple of movies that will be in in festivals and stuff like that, and if I didn't have that confidence in the people, it's really hard separating money. That can be $500, that can be $500,000.
Right.
And you realize a lot of these people have these big major dreams, but they don't have the setup to do it.
Right.
And so I'm just developing a app where content creators can actually go on there and
That's
instead
awesome.
of asking
is.
for
How difficult is it to create an app?
it is if you have a team behind you and somebody have to really pretty much put in sweat equity, you know, it's like it's just more of a site. And what it is it's easier for you to say, hey, I have this idea for this documentary.
Right.
I need that like $25,000. And I'm gonna say, well, what do you need that $25,000 for? And you say, well, I need it for a film crew, or I need it for a camera guy and the editing or an engineer. My company actually does that.
Okay.
So I'm not going to give you $25,000, but
What's the
I can
name of
give
your company?
It's Root for Chaos.
Okay.
So
Chaos. Okay.
yeah. So and when you do that, a lot of people don't want to give it, and that's why a lot of projects and a lot of stuff don't really take off, because it's hard to come up with that money. But if you come in with that sweat equity or that knowledge, and you can actually get money on the back end, it's a great way for you to get your IMBD account. And a lot of people out here that I've met actually say like, well, I'd love to do set design.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you don't have an agent, and if you're not in that business,
That
and
industry,
if you're not
it's hard
doing
to
it,
get in.
you can do it. And this is real like SAG-backed projects, and you put your name on it, and you're a set designer. You might not get paid for that much, but you alleviate that part of like trying to come up with the money.
Okay.
You do the set design, people see the completed work on the project, and you have an IMBD, and then that actually builds up your reputation, that builds up your design, and people get
Your
to see it.
character
and your
people.
character, right? And the makeup artists, and then you need camera people. Like I know camera people everywhere that's just sitting around with like $70,000 cameras.
Not to cut you off, but really quick for the people, YouTube, our viewers that listen in, how did you get your start, and you know, where are you from?
Okay, so I'm originally from Chicago. But I've been in restaurants for like over 20 years.
Yes.
And I'm very fortunate and I'm very blessed. I moved out here, and I didn't have any desire or creation, any desire to do TV. I was just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And I met some people and really good friends of mine. And
he has stories for days.
Yeah.
Like, when we talk,
and I remember it was just a brief conversation. It was like, we're just looking for content. We're looking for content. There's nothing out here. And I was like, oh man, I came up with this show like 10 years ago. It was this cooking show. And he's actually one of my good friends now. And he was like, man, you should write it up and just give it to me, and I can see if I can get it over to some people. So me being the overachiever I am, I went into my savings, and actually Jasmine was one of the first producers of the pilot for one of my cooking shows.
Nice.
Is that the cooking with Jasmine?
Oh, I've seen that.
No, it's Kitchen Commando.
Kitchen Commando.
Jasmine's in it, though, right?
And then that would be a hashtag Go Commando.
Yeah. Go Commando.
So I got this bug, and I showed it to him, and he was like, wow, this is like so well done and stuff like that. And then I always had these shows, and I've always had them written down and the direction I wanted to go. And I filmed another one, and I got the same crew, and then I did a music docuseries show. Yeah. And then I did a show about depression, and then I did a show about breakups. So, and then we just became into do documentaries. And my thing was, I just, even though I didn't work with that network, with my buddy is actually probably running it now, he became one of my best friends, but he actually lit the fire under me to like, try this and try this.
Great.
And
that's awesome.
And so now that's what I do full time. I left the restaurant business. Now I'm just working with my restaurant group, and we're just
they miss you, by the way. They miss you.
I do talk. I do hear that, but it was a step that I had to make.
Yes.
And I'm having fun. It's been about 6 full months now.
There you go.
And
having fun doing what you want to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of hobnob, but believe it or not, I'm very by myself. I go to the corner. The minute I go to an event, I'm in the corner by myself. I've never had social media before in my life, so you couldn't find me on YouTube. You couldn't find.
So don't ask where you at. You can't find.
So it's Ken at rootforchaos.com. I mean, but I was just telling you that I don't have anything against social media. I just always worked 2 jobs.
There you go.
When I was in Chicago, when I was in college playing basketball, I worked a job. When I was in New York, I was in high school, I was a center. And then when I got there, I was a scrawny little 180, small forward, and they were flopping me around everywhere. But I always worked 2 jobs. So I think if I always say, if I had like a free weekend or if I had a free week, if I would have got on the social media account, you would have known everything about me. It's just I didn't have it at the time, and I kind of forgot about it.
You're not missing out, Ken.
And my phone number has been the same.
It's a lot of stress.
Your phone number's been the same?
Right, my phone number's been the same for 19 years. Wow. So if you want to find me, you know to find me. I'll randomly get this text like,
Ken, I need you to call me right after this show.
Ken, is this still your number?
Call me immediately, Ken. We need to be BFFs.
Which is good, because now I know when I text you, I know for sure you're going to get it.
I get it. Yeah. But it's nothing, and I tell people, and people are like so fascinated by it. And there's like, well, how are you in this business? And how are you doing this? And I'm like, I have a bunch of smart kids and a bunch of smart people who know how to do it.
That's right.
So it's easier for me to find a person who has 30,000 followers, and then another person who has 40,000, and I can get 100,000 followers with 5 people compared to me would probably have my mom or somebody else, or or you guys doing it for sympathy. But it's
for sympathy,
right?
Troy, bring the Kleenex, Troy.
Right. So I try to be very smart thinking and smart forward thinking about stuff like that. So I alleviate the stress out of it, and I just have really great people around me to do certain things. Even when I own my restaurant.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever produced something that you thought was going to be really good, and editing wise, it was just trash?
Oh yeah.
That you're just mad at the editor.
Oh yeah, it's and I think ever since I moved out to California, I'm like extra passive aggressive. So I've had projects get sent back to me, and I'm like, it's okay, and I never use it because I'm just like. you know,
With the
so
Anything
nice
was that.
people.
We have this Negro spiritual
and
we start to do every now and
these
then.
people are so excited about it, like, oh man, I put my heart and sweat and blood, and I'm like, oh, I'd rather you say I just put it together, because then I can tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you see that passion in their eye, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's me, and I kind of do it. And
do they ever ask, like, are you ever going to use what I edited?
you know what? And I do. I just say, it's not the right time.
Got you.
You know, and I
That's
say-
that passive aggression.
and I say-
That's right, time.
I will, but not yet.
I
this
say I'll
later.
just piggyback it in on one of the other shows I'm pitching, but I unfortunately it's been not that many.
Good.
And
that's
now
good.
when you're spending your own money, you kind of have to develop like this hard line backbone, and you do it respectfully and kind of tell people.
Well, you
like,
know, Francois and I, we way back at Bank of America, we were writing a script called Red 7.
Okay.
The first script that I had ever written. Right? And we entered into a contest, and I have a lot of grammar errors. Send it to him. He'll take a look at it. He'll change some stuff, add to the story.
right.
I sent it to the contest, and we made it to like the top 8.
8, yeah,
Right.
8, right?
First time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm psyched. Oh, I'm about to
Right.
get this money.
Yeah.
They want to produce this, and then we didn't make it, obviously.
Yeah.
But what I learned was just like the hard work and the ethic of just trying. You
Right.
You could reach a certain level, but I didn't like the fact that
They gave
I
us
had
some
to-
good tips too.
some good advice,
Right.
but
They did.
I just got burnt out of like rewriting, and
Right,
I
yeah,
said, you know
yeah.
what?
Mm-hmm.
I just could. I started to love it, then I fell out of love.
It was a good experience for us.
Yeah, two things with that. I try to tell people you probably have to take that Misery. Remember that movie Misery?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
You probably
yeah.
have to take that kind of approach, and you have to literally check in a hotel by yourself and take yourself out of that element and
Yes.
just focus. Like,
Yeah.
just do it. I know it's hard.
Great
And
advice.
Oh,
that's why
it was hard.
I
It was
don't really
really
do
hard.
scripted. Like, if you gave me that, I would love to do it, but I have so many great ideas I want to do for a
your own.
TV
Yeah,
show.
for sure.
And I know that me writing dialogue is just not my thing. That's why I do a lot of unscripted or docuseries or something like that. And that's another thing. But with yes, no, or maybe, and I'm not, it's a shameless plug. And I mean, that's what but when if you had that and you can put that on that site and you can say, this is what I need. I need a real film editor. I need a real script writer.
Yeah.
I can't give you your rate now, but you'll get it on the back end if this is a production for a thing. And people actually on the site
That's awesome.
see it.
It is.
It starts with a script, and you can see the progress on it. And people are like, "Wow, I really love that set design, or I love that makeup, or I love that actor that's on there. I want to work with him." And it gives people an opportunity to actually be recognized.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't have an agent and they don't play
Right.
the game, and I don't think that people have to play those kind of shenanigans. And
It's like a club. If you're not in the
and
club, then you
people
can't do
are
much for
doing things that they don't want to really do.
Right.
And it's not like a sexual thing or
Yeah.
a casting couch, but people are just being in situations
Yeah.
they don't want to be around and
Yep.
being around people that they know are not good, but
Very
it's
true.
just in. And you shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
You
So
I
just-
agree.
you mentioned a lot of the process, right? What would you say is your favorite part?
actually, the see what I thought actually
come to life.
come to life.
Oh.
Even if it's
I
a
know
30-minute
that's very
sizzle
cool.
reel, it's just like, wait a minute, that's exactly in my mind how I
and
finished.
it looks probably even
That's
more
cool.
beautiful
Yeah,
than when it's
yeah.
out there.
That's
And-
very
And
cool.
I'm
That's
very
addictive. It's
fortunate
addictive.
that the sizzle reels that I've done or the pilots I've done, and people are like, wow, this is like, we do scripted, but I have a sister who needs this and I need, do that. So root for chaos. And and believe it or not, I'm not here to plug it. I'm just here because
No, we
you
gonna
guys
plug
are awesome.
it.
We gonna plug it.
all on.
So-
It's gonna be real
Root
big
for
right
chaos.
here.
Root for chaos.
Real big. Root for chaos. Right here.
You're gonna see it.
It's gonna be right here.
Everybody, our philosophy is like everybody is their own star.
Yeah.
And, everybody have their own concept. So pretty
Nice way
much
to
what
put
we
it.
do is our company, that division of my company, and I shouldn't say ours, me, that division of my company, everybody can be a reality star. Everybody feel like in their office, they're a bunch of characters and they want to do a show. Our company literally go in there.
Yeah.
And we actually contract with you to make your own unscripted show.
You know what would be a
That
great
is
show?
cool.
I have a great idea.
I need
for
my
it.
And see,
own
that's
show.
where we come in.
I'm gonna throw a great idea for you. A show with Luminary Sounds.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Right.
It is.
That is.
So if that was a show that we'll be into, we'll probably come in as producer partners with you. We film it, and what's the worst that can happen? You know, and every
Greatness
family,
comes from it.
every family feel like their family is the funniest, the wittiest.
Yeah.
Right.
We
And
are.
our company, we go
We
in there.
know.
We actually set up a whole show,
Yeah.
a show schedule for you. We do it like an unscripted show.
All
and-
right, so
yeah,
we're starting
we
this
have that. Yeah.
night after.
Yeah.
Ken, that's a setup, Ken.
guys heard
We
it
brought
first.
you here for a reason, Ken.
But you know, I think
Thank you,
that
God.
everybody should feel important.
Right.
Yeah,
And you know,
absolutely,
and you shouldn't have so many likes or anything to make you feel important. So
Oh, no, I
we
think that-
make you feel important at
That is-
Roof of
Yeah,
Chaos.
yeah.
If you have an idea, it might not be our idea, but we'll definitely help you get it to pen to paper and
That's
get it
good.
into production.
That's awesome.
That's good.
If the price is right and we all come to an agreement, you know.
Yeah. You have any other questions for him?
I got another question for him. If you
Go
don't.
ahead.
So
But now, see, now K-Way don't play it. She a little sick today.
I know.
She a little sick
I
today.
know.
Now, she
I
was
am. I'm
sneaking
trying not
And y'all didn't
to.
get the,
She
the
don't
right
sneeze
liquor
on you.
for it.
Trying not
Yeah,
to.
yeah. She don't want to sneeze.
Kay
on
got
you
some
like
questions. I know she
that.
does.
Yeah.
you can
Go ahead, bro.
So, as far as I know, you're a very big fan of music.
Yes.
So, right now in your car, I know you took a nice ride here.
Right.
What were you listening to?
So I was listening to the Ventura album, Anderson.
Anderson .Paak.
It's just unbelievable.
Yes.
And I never knew about
Did
him.
you like it better than Oxnard?
I like Oxnard too.
You like which one you like better?
I don't know. I like Ventura.
I like
'Cause-
Ventura.
Yeah. And I figured him out or found him. I was listening to this song called Bubbling. Remember that song?
Oh
Bubbling?
yeah, bubbling.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it was so just listening to the lyrics, and it was like this, like kind of like artsy fartsy kind of
Yeah,
song, and
yeah.
I loved it so much. And I started listening. I was like, oh no, he's not just one dimensional. This
Right.
guy's like,
No, he's not.
I don't
He's
like to
talented.
compare things like that Childish Gambino when you can just he
Yeah.
switched it up. I was like, wow, and it's
Yeah.
just. I mean, I was listening to that, and then I think when I talked to you the other night, I was listening to Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
That's
Yeah.
just Steely Dan. And I was just like, I'm like listening to like Hey 19. I'm like,
And the bad thing
that
about
song would not be on the air right now. He's literally
Right,
talking
right.
about
Yeah.
like dating the
No,
19.
but I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that because
Yeah.
Steely Dan. I grew up with older brothers and sisters, and "Do It Again"
yeah.
was always like a song I heard all the time.
Yeah, and Black Cow and,
Yeah,
and all
so
that.
you
Yeah.
know, you mentioned Steely Dan. I start thinking about Kool and the Gang,
Right,
And like
right.
a lot of those groups. So I was just like, oh wow,
So and then when you put it like on like any, I don't want to name any company, but if you put it on a certain app, they'll grab like Crosby, Still and Nash. They'll
Yeah.
grab like
Similar artists.
and then sometimes like if I'm listening to my satellite radio, I just love to listen. I'm a marketing person first, and I'm like, this music is terrible. This artist is terrible. But you know why I like him? I like him. Like I like this artist. The music is terrible, but he has a cool name. The rap names or some of these artist names, they're so well crafted. The names are so well. I'm like, okay, it'll come across the screen. I'm like,
Sure.
oh, Dr. Funky Monkey. I'll listen to it because it's
Dr.
so-
Funky
Monkey.
you know what
The
I
name
mean? The
gets you.
names are everything, and these kids are marketing, and that's what I'm trying to say.
game
It's
changed,
all-
yeah. Absolutely,
and it's all
absolutely.
about marketing. And I'm like, this is terrible. It's god awful, terrible music. And I'm like, how did this kid even get on there? But he has a catchy name.
That's a
and-
catchy name.
yeah, yeah.
With that being said, like who do you like now? Like right now, I know you mentioned Childish Gambino, Anderson .Paak. Is there anybody else?
You know what? You know, believe it or not, I have this secret that I've been on this Busta Rhymes kick.
Busta Rhymes.
You going back to
I was
Buster.
listening
Going back
to
to Busta.
Extinction Level Event.
yeah.
When this disaster strikes.
Oh man.
I was
know,
actually
You about to make me
listening-
listen to Busta
Yeah.
Rhymes.
you know what my song is from that album?
What's that?
Tear the Roof Off.
Yes, yeah. And then
With
I,
Swiss
then
Beats.
I
That's my
got
song.
into it, and then I started listening to Missy Elliott's first album,
Oh,
Super Duper
yeah.
Fly.
That's
That's the only. Let me tell you something. To this day, that's the only album I can listen to beginning to complete end, and
Super
not,
Duper Fly.
Yeah, and
Oh,
not
wow.
change a song.
Yeah.
Not change one song. That album, it was like
Incredible.
just an incredible.
And
album.
you know what I find incredible about that album? I remember Missy saying that she knew she loved it because Timbaland didn't like it.
right.
And I
Because he
find
didn't
that
like it.
so
Right.
crazy.
Right. That
And he produced the beats.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
and that
did.
whole album.
And he don't like it.
Which you see Childish Gambino now, and you see Anderson .Paak. It's that rap song, that rap. I can sing a lyric or hold a tune.
Yeah.
And that album, just listening to it, and all the viewers just happen to just throw that in just from beginning to end, and you can literally
Super
pull
Duper
up on
Fly.
that
That
album.
reminds me of like of that time of Super Duper Fly. Like, what happened in this day of hip hop today?
So in this day of hip hop, we're gonna get into Francois facts very quickly.
Go.
So
With the notes.
So with the note, so in this day in hip hop, and I'll even say music, January 10th, 1997, James Brown got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's pretty amazing. I didn't
That's
know
perfect.
that.
James Brown,
didn't
What you
know that
saying?
either.
1997?
1997.
That's
Why
pretty
so
amazing.
long? Why it took him so long to get a star?
I don't
That's
know.
what I want.
That's what
You know
the
why?
question
Because he's
is.
always drunk.
Yeah, but
And
why it
people
took him
didn't want
so
to give him
long?
a chance. And
Look,
you
they
know,
could
I
give
don't.
he maybe had to get his perm a couple of times. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I watched a short movie
Yeah.
with him called Beat the Devil. It was a BMW.
Oh, I think I know what he's talking about.
But it was so true. It's like he sold his soul to the devil to get 50 more years. And he was racing.
Yeah.
He had to race the devil like
Yeah.
in a race car to get it back. And I'm like, this guy is like the hardest working man. And that was
He the
supposed
hardest
to be
working man
in
in
like,
show business.
I think it was like 1950 something. And so you mean to tell me like 40 years this
I
man
know,
just
that's
got a
sad.
star?
That's true when you do the
Yeah.
math. Yeah.
And you know what's so funny, because I had my uncle, I used to always say, man, he used to be like, who do you really think is the best?
Right.
And I would always tell him, Michael, man, no one could beat Michael Jackson. And him and my dad would laugh, and they'll go, man, Michael look up to James Brown.
Right,
and I'm
yeah.
like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did though.
Yeah, he
But
did, yeah.
though.
And then I don't know
Michael
if you guys
used to go like this to James
Right,
Brown.
yeah.
He did.
Just bow to the man.
I remember the BET Awards. They gave James Brown, I think, a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right.
And Michael Jackson said, I would never miss this moment ever.
Right.
And he showed up.
Right.
And right then and there, I started thinking of my uncle and my dad
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
oh, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just thinking about that, like you said, why 40 years? It
Yeah.
just makes me think. Like,
And
the
I
man
mean,
just...
every artist
gonna
was
get in there.
sampled. Every artist, every rapper, every sampled. The most sampled musician probably
yeah,
in
yeah,
history.
James Brown.
And
Yeah.
you mean that's actually heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like something so simple like that actually like annoys me. That it took him that long
yeah.
to get a star.
Get on up.
Right. You know.
Watch yourself.
I was even watching him in Rocky 4, and you're like,
Oh,
man,
yeah?
he was even good in Rocky 4.
I know. He
Living
came out
in
of Battle
America.
Creek.
Living in
Right.
America.
I love it. Right.
Yo.
And I'm like, look at that suit.
We
Yeah.
having a bromance right here.
Right.
Speaking of bromance, K-Way don't play.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. You want me to ask a few questions for my segment?
Yeah, what's your segment called?
Yes.
Well, my segment is about relationships, and I am going to ask all three of you guys. Well, one of my questions is, what do you think this generation is missing when it comes to being faithful and committed in relationships?
She went there on the brothers.
Yeah.
I think what's hard is that let's say you have a young man that wants to do right, and in this day and age, you're on social media,
Talk about
and
it.
you have a lot of really nice women. If you want to know who's a good woman, the one that's not naked
Right.
or half naked trying to get attention on social media.
I mean, very
Then
true.
you have the women that are
Very true.
naked in 90% of their photos, and
Right.
I think it's really tempting for men that already have the eye.
Yeah.
That it's really hard. I don't think it's like they want to. I think that the temptation.
But
is
what would
really
you
hard.
guys suggest? Like,
Don't get on social media.
Don't get on social media. That's the
It's the
thing.
truth. Just
I
not get on
think
social
it's
media.
like.
but
you
is
know,
that an option nowadays?
Yeah, well, Ken don't have social media.
But
You
you
know what?
you have to say you have to say this, like, did your mom and dad have YouTube, or did they have social
right,
media? Did
right.
your grandparents that? And it's
No,
just
they
like
didn't.
it's so many distractions. Like, the average person scanned through, like, even when I scan through a Google feed,
Yeah.
it's like if you don't get me within 3 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
I've
out
been
of
around, right? And I think that a lot of that is because you want to know what somebody's status is, if
Right.
it's complicated and this and
Yeah.
that, and I think a lot of it is just we're overstimulated.
Yeah,
Yes,
and-
very,
that's the
very-
word I was
Yeah.
very
looking for.
good.
That
It's
it's
overstimulated.
overstimulated. It's
But
It is.
the women
showing
can't
my
wait. They
age.
be doing their thing too.
But okay, let's say our generation, most of them already start off on Instagram.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest in that?
If you
case?
do, I would suggest, if you are on Instagram, there's a way about going about projecting yourself.
Okay.
You could project yourself in a light that isn't already being projected. Most of
Right.
these guys, I mean, there's some guys that, they got their shirts off. You don't need to do all that.
right.
Right.
I mean, look, the girl already know you got triceps and biceps and abs. You don't need to do all that. Yeah. You could come at it from an approach. Look, I'm a gentleman. Put some positive quotes on there from time to time. I think it's all about how you use your social media. And
I think it's just harder today.
It's harder because
and unfortunately, like Instagram is a topic in relationships now, and it's annoying to me.
But your parents is actually the youth now.
I feel where you're going.
Your parents
You
need to blame your parents because since the minute you're born, before you're even born, your mom is on there with her stomach on Instagram and look at my belly and look at my.
That is a good point.
So
she got you on the ground
generational. This is generational. Yeah. Think about it. I mean, a lot of the parents are on Instagram or Facebook, and they're telling you everything about what's going on with you before you even born. Oh, he's kicking me, or she's going to be a feisty one. So when she is 18 years old and she's on there half naked and she's feisty.
Half naked.
You know, your mom is the reason that
I
mean, so it's like you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And it's like everybody needs to know everything about you. And a lot of it starts with a generation. It's a generation.
That's a good question.
You know, one thing I find funny, though, you'll run into like females, and I don't know if Kay would agree with this or not, that will say, I would like a guy that isn't on social media. But then when they meet a guy that's like, I don't really do social media, they're like, oh, he lying.
Right.
Yeah.
He hiding.
He hiding. I'm that way.
People actually ask me, I'm on the run. I'm like, no.
Are you on the run?
I'm like, when are you hiding?
Harrison Ford.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm hiding that warrant I got out of Michigan. No, but it's just, and that's the thing. It's like, it's okay. But now I know a lot of people, even you guys, when I just first met, a lot of people, they're just like, I appreciate that.
So, Kay, just being the female, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think with a guy that says, hey, you know what? The social media thing, I have it, but I'm not really on it like that.
Would you appreciate that.
You would appreciate it? Would you believe it right off the bat? Or
now that I'm older, I do, but I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I would think like, oh, he probably just don't want me to. No, I would think he just didn't want me to like see what else he was doing. Right. That's what I was thinking. Not that he was hiding something from me, but I'm like, oh, maybe he just don't want me to see. But I actually personally appreciate dudes that are not on there like that. Okay, like I appreciate it, and especially because I have to be on there so much for my career. I would appreciate that he's not.
So, as far as your DMs, are they in your DMs?
Yeah,
they're in your DMs. And how do you navigate from the guy, because they're basically all coming at you? How do you navigate? Are you navigating it by appearances?
No, I navigate it by conversation, because I can tell like in the first like few lines whether they're trying to like come at me dating wise or if it's like business.
Yeah.
And then from there, then I'll kind of be like, okay, no, dead it, or I'll pursue the conversation.
They hitting her with the, how you doing?
I seen you on that podcast.
Right. I seen you half naked.
I don't be half naked on my Instagram.
I see you 90% naked on the team.
Yeah, let's talk about these photos, though.
Right. Man. I've been watching you since your mama been talking about you.
Right.
I've been knowing you since your mama had you.
Man.
Social Instagram is almost like a dating app now. Like, unfortunately.
That's hilarious that you said that. I was watching YouTube last week.
That's a good point.
And they had this thing called 30 versus 1. Right, so there's this woman. She's in all white, white and like black pants, and 30 men are coming right in front of her. She swipes left if she doesn't like the guy. She swipes right if she's attracted to the guy.
It's horrible.
So what it is, it's a real life dating app of
so
like.
So it's Tinder on.
It's Tinder real life. So here's the
Tinder
first
real
guy.
Life.
So I'm looking at the guys and I'm thinking to myself, man, that's an ugly guy right there. Right. She about to swipe left. She went left. Here's the next guy. I said, hey, he ain't that bad. Swipe right. Here's the next guy. Left, and it's crazy how like as a guy, I'm not attracted to guys, but I'm like, I'm picking the same guy.
Like I can see that.
And I'm
I can see that direction.
Thinking, man, it's hard for women to find a good guy because these dudes are ugly over here.
And
they're ugly out here.
Have you guys done dating apps before?
Yeah, I've done.
I have not.
I've done dating apps. It never materialized to absolutely anything.
Really?
Oh, no way. Wait. It one time, but that's.
Yeah,
that's beneath me.
You know, I have not. I've never tried.
I've been in restaurants for so long that it's like, okay, It's like literally walking through an apple orchard. It's like walking.
like,
It's like walking through an apple orchard. I'll say it when I never say it in front of anybody except the thousands of people. It's like walking through an apple orchard 8 feet tall. You know, it's like walking through an apple
you have your pick.
being 8 feet tall. I mean,
it is.
Because I've had people that in my life, I'm like, wait a minute, you know, like, wow, you're like one of my best friends. I'm like, dude, you're like very attractive. Like, why are you on here? And he was like, Ken, you're in a restaurant. I'm in the office all day. And, you know, fortunately, he's my best friend. And he did meet somebody on the dating app. And they just had a beautiful baby at home. And I love her to death. You know? Yeah, and it does work. But I question that. I'm like, like you two on dating, I'm like, wow, you guys are good looking brothers. Like, why are you on there? But
thank you, sir.
Thank
you, sir.
It's hard if you're like walking around. If you're in the club and you meet somebody in the club, you know what you're going to get out of that.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so I like you say, your dating pool is different in different areas and stuff like that. So, but
I still believe in like meeting people generally and filling off their energy. And for me to be on an app, I feel like I won't be able to feel their energy that well.
That's true.
Right.
So
That's a good way to look at it.
I've talked to a couple of dudes through Instagram that I met on Instagram, but that didn't like turn into anything.
Well, why didn't? What happened?
because he was topless.
No, just the connection wasn't there. Like, it just wasn't
Well, how
there.
do you develop a connection
Wait,
on Instagram?
do you need somebody
anyway?
that's funny? You need somebody that's like,
For
because you
me,
like to laugh.
For me,
Yeah.
for a guy to be able to like hold a conversation, because I like to talk, and if you stimulate me intellectually, that's a plus.
So
and
he
most
can't be
guys
running the
can't.
sports center and
So,
just leave you
fellas,
there.
she needs the stimulation intellectually.
Intellectually.
Read a book.
Exactly.
Or
Teach
Google
me
something
some-
before you
teach
You
come
don't
me-
in.
care about your
Teach me
mixtape.
something.
Read a book.
Google something before you
Yeah,
come
Google
in. Google
something,
a
yeah.
story before you come in.
48 Laws of Power. Hey, girl, you know number 3?
Right.
I'll be like, wow.
The brother gonna come at her.
So, boy, this boy
That's
is so
3rd and
smart.
10.
Did you hear about the crisis in Tunisia?
We already messed up the DMs for the whole rest of the year.
Right.
You better come correct if you coming at K-Way.
Period.
That's how it is. Period. Period. So, well, let's get into the questions that we have from some of our viewers on Instagram. Too. We definitely want to get them some Sean K-Way.
Okay, well, first question, since we're on dating and whatnot, the people want to know, are you guys single?
None of your business.
That's
Too personal.
That's what
We're here talking about kids. We're gonna have a nice time and drink wine and gin. That ain't none of your business. Like
That's
my boy
what
Genuine
people
say.
want to know.
Well, let's go on to the next question.
Okay.
I am taken. I'm happily taken.
I'm just single right now. Hey, one day.
Yourself?
Yeah, I'm with somebody. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we're with somebody, and it's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Good.
How about you? About you, K-Way?
I am single right
Oh,
now.
is there anybody that you're talking to that it could be kind of
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
When we gonna meet him?
When it makes it past the end.
Oh, when he makes it past
Yeah.
the okay.
Okay.
Well, whoever you are, I know he's gonna be watching. You better make it past
Look.
the end.
Look, he didn't bring out that book yet. That's what it is.
No, he actually he has good conversation.
Okay, that's
Oh, really?
Good,
Okay.
very good conversation.
Keep that
'Cause he's
conversation
reading his
going,
Google
brother.
feed.
Right.
That's what's up. And who was that question from?
Crystal Culture.
Crystal Culture. Okay.
Yes.
Crystal Culture.
Shout out to Crystal Culture. Thank
Yeah,
you.
shout out. Thank you.
And Icy Looks by Shay wants to know, do you guys have any advice on starting your own businesses?
Be mindful of the situation. Don't go completely in like without a plan. And you always have to have a backup plan. And I recommend anybody, it's like if you can't do it with your own money, don't do it yet.
You don't go
Save
get
enough.
loans.
Very good. That's a very good
you don't
thing.
want to put yourself in a position that you cannot be in a position to fulfill what you need to do while worry about being obligated to somebody
true.
else.
That's very
Yes.
true.
You know, have a backup plan and always have a plan. You always have to be thinking 3 steps ahead. If this doesn't work out,
and
what's
I-
my
That's
next
a
plan?
good-
And I
Very
think,
good
Ken,
point.
I think that if you're in business, because I have a business of mine called Bayou Kitchen where we do Louisiana style foods for festivals.
Right.
And we were looking to get a food truck, and we have absolutely no debt. We hadn't taken out any loans whatsoever. But what we had to do was create a business plan, like you say, and have a proof of concept, and understand that you're going to have a lot of hurdles.
Yes.
And then you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you're not going to get rich quick unless it's just something just crazy. But you have to, that money that you make, you have to go put it back into the company.
Definitely.
You have to do your research, your marketing, and reach the right target audience. So, if you do the research and you take your time and understand you will make mistakes, you can be successful.
Right.
And lastly, I would say believe in yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, and my thing, just be realistic.
Yeah, be realistic.
Optimistic, and holistic in my way. You just have to make sure that you're not worrying about what's happening the next day.
Right.
It's easy if you say, like, when I opened up my first bakery, I bartended. I was a GM of a restaurant, and I delivered pizzas. And I
That's
told
like
people,
a Jamaican, a bunch of jobs.
I mean, and then I saved and I opened it up with no debt. I did all the marketing for it myself. I literally put the sockets in. I did it all that. So
it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah.
And you just got to be disciplined, and you have to have a plan. Because when I sold it to my chef partner, I was okay with it. Yeah. I didn't have one bank loan. I didn't have one person I owed anything to.
No, that's awesome.
And that's it. I didn't probably make any profit off of it, but it was awesome that I had two
Are
bakeries.
Are you mentoring anybody or any?
You know what? I have not. I'm just,
right. Mentor
right here. Now I will tell you the reason why, and he mentioned it earlier when I had the podcast, and I was like, Ken, let me know what you think, because I value your opinion. We've had many conversations, and just from the conversations, just your enlightenment of things and different topics is just amazing.
I mean, like I say, I always ask. I always ask people. I used to ask like the gangbangers in my neighborhood, like, "Hey, how did you go to jail?" And they'd be like, and no, and they'd be like,
"Well, the crime.
Why are you doing that?" And I was like, because I want to know what not to do.
What not to do.
Right. And then I talked to people who were like, "Oh, well, I had a business." I'm like, "Well, what happened to it?" And they were like, "Oh, well, it didn't work out." And I'm like, "Look, I'm not trying to like gloat on your failure. I just want to know what not to do." And I try to be realistic with people as possible. I'm like, "Okay, so what's the plan?" And that's how I go through life. Like, "Okay, so what's the plan?" Right. And I know it gets aggravating to a lot of people, but if I'm asking you as a friend, what do you think an investor is going to ask you? And you better have a better answer than that, because
So being in the know. Being in the know, huh? The knowledge is important.
Right.
Knowing, wow.
Yeah, I never give anybody any advice or anything that I haven't done or learned from myself. That's amazing. One thing about it is I never understood why parents always say, or people around, like, they got to fail to see what's going on. I would never put anybody in that situation to do that. Right. I would never put you in that situation. I'm like, look, this is how I fail. I don't believe that people need to learn a lesson by failing. I think people just need to learn not to do it to fail. And I just never believed in those kind of like.
And one thing I will say about Ken is he's very honest. When I asked you about the podcast, you were very honest with me.
What did you say when he asked you?
I know we talked a lot, but I think I was just like, look, I don't know.
I talked to him before we actually started, really, like when we were just about to start. And I went to him, I was like, look, man, we got this podcast we're about to start. And he was just like, look, man, hey, man, go do it, man. You're a talented guy, go do it. Yeah. I said, when I do it, though, I'm going to come ask you what you think.
And what did I say? I say, it doesn't hurt to try. And I think
that's exactly what he told me.
And that's
what you have to lose.
That's kind of like your question right here.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose? And you won. You're winning.
Thank you.
As they say. Winning.
Thank you so much.
Use that. They're winning.
Yeah.
You're winning.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
So that question was by Leo_Cotton, COTTN. Another
shout out to you, Leo.
Absolutely, thank you. We have a question from Simone. What's everyone's story and what motivated you to get to where you are now? Okay, wait.
What part of the story?
My story. Well, or I'll start with what motivates me. Coming not from a broken family, but having broken things that have happened in my family. And seeing and knowing what I wanted for my own future is kind of what motivates me to keep going. And my story, I don't know how to shorten my story. I don't know how to shorten.
There's a lot of things going on. What about you, Francois?
I would say for me, with the story, just being able to live in different places has taught me a lot, because people live differently on different coasts. So I've been able, that's been a big part of my story, being able to adapt in different places and different situations.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate that God has put me in those situations and been able to have those experiences. So I kind of have more to be able to adapt to when a situation arises. And then what was the second part of the question?
It was like, what's everyone's story and what motivated you to get to where you are?
What motivated me to get to where I am was just watching my mom work 2 and 3 jobs. She's retired
told me that
now.
yesterday.
Oh, she's retired now. But boy, when I saw that, I was like, one of the youngest in the family. So I got to see my brother grow up, my sisters grow up. So they were looking at me like, boy, what's this little boy gonna do? And I was like, boy, I gotta be ready. People right here, they buying houses and stuff. Right. So that motivated me. Just seeing my mom work so hard, and now she's retired. I was like, that's how you do it. But when you do it, just make sure you're having fun.
Right.
Because my mom really wasn't having fun. She was just doing it because she had kids. Yeah. And she had to take care of us. And she was like, I'm going to work. And I was like, damn, this lady ain't even having fun.
For sure, yeah.
So I always look at life and say, just make sure you're having fun and you're working hard and enjoying it with good people. And it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think my story is basically from the work ethic from my father. He never wanted to work for anybody. He always had a business of his own, and his business still back home in Mississippi is thriving. And
awesome.
Getting into this independent music, not knowing how to write songs or how to do anything, and I came from just really nothing, nobody to assist me. Then winning a few awards and being in a film, royalty checks and stuff. It just showed me that if you really try hard, you can reach that goal.
You can.
Exactly.
And I had a team that helped me, obviously, but my persistence is really what got me there. And I wanted to create something for other people, like the gentleman we just met that's doing a magazine
That's
for
awesome.
independent artists. Like, that is something that is not available for people.
No, it's not.
And I wanted to create like a platform for artists that do not have the opportunity to be heard, to be like, you know what, I got to get to Luminary Sound. Right. They're going to put my stuff out there. They're going to help me try to get to some kind of mainstream success.
Right.
That's really what it's for. I get more rewards from helping others than anything that I've received.
Definitely. That's awesome.
So, that's my story.
How about you, Ken?
I'm still writing my story. I don't even know. I mean,
Can I be in the story?
That's a good.
I always, the funny thing I always say is like, I don't even know what I want to do when I grow up, but I'm having fun doing it now.
I love that.
I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up, but
that.
I'm having fun now, and my motivation is just like helping as many people as possible. And I know that's probably sound cliche, but
you're doing an
when I
excellent job
own
at
my
it,
restaurants and I've done this, it's no other feeling like not paying yourself, but actually signing a check for somebody and knowing that you were providing something, even if it was a little bit for somebody, if that was gas money, if that was their cigarette money, if that was anything. I don't judge. It was just, that was my motivation about doing everything I'm doing. And, and matter of fact, I would like to mentor if you know. So we give my email.
Thanks, Ken. We're first.
Well, so we're running up on that hour. We want to make sure we get that in. But Ken, how can people go check out some of the work that you've done?
Well, you can actually go to rootforchaos.com.
Rootforchaos.com.
Root for chaos. I mean,
Okay.
that's
Root.
right. And then I can actually be reached at Ken, Ken, at rootforchaos.com.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
My Instagram will be no Instagram. You can follow me on not snapping. And I think I will have that set up because I think I just got a new social media rep here.
And I'm following too. Right out. Right out.
You're not really following me. You'll be following Kay. But so definitely, I'm very accessible. It's just email me.
All right.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I can say, I don't know anything about that. And I try to say, I don't know that, but I can always find out for you.
Sure.
And I'm always available. I'm not that important.
For sure. Well, we want to say thank you for the listeners for tuning in to Luminary Sounds. It's your boy, Junior Leto.
It's your boy, Francois the Great.
And your creative fanatic, K Don't Play.
And we will see you next week.
We out of here.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great, kid.
Oh,
That
thank
was
you.
wonderful.
That was.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. It was perfect. Okay, so we
Your
got
ears hot, my ears are hot.
We got the audio. Let me go get
He's
the audio.
always supposed to say that for instance, you're always supposed to say you're with somebody on interviews. Or you have something because people want you more when you do. If
No,
you
but
said,
I kid you.
They would have been like,
No,
really?
but I
wanna
kid
take
you.
away from your
I
wife.
kid you not. When I posted the promo videos, everybody was like, "Oh, who's that? Who's that? Are they singing?" I'm like, "Calm
I'm telling
down,
you, that's-
okay? calm down." No, my mother was like, "Oh, the little chocolate one." I was like, first of all,
That ain't me, bro. I'm on a caramel kind of guy.
I was like, y'all need
No. What they gonna say?
I was like,
I
y'all
can
need
definitely
to
take
calm
care of your
down.
girl